standing for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Built upon the shoulders of the Constitution, rule of law, and the animating principle that we are all created equal. I need to hear a hallelujah, though I'm not considered a believer by some. I still believe in the warmth of heaven come. I need the rapture I feel when my feet touch the green, green grass of home. Then I know I have reached the valley of kingdom come. And when I reach that valley, I need to see you there. Because we don't need a kingdom, we only need free air. And we don't seek a king, we seek the brotherhood of man. And we won't fight for bondage, as we need no king or woman. We will stand undivided, because we will raise the fallen. Now I need to hear a hallelujah as we tear down the wall there. Oh. The divide between heaven and earth, as tears turn to mirth, as we walk through the valley of death, and I draw my last breath. I know rapture I feel when I touch the green, green grass of home. Then I know I've reached the hollow where my ancestors roam.
Three headlines, one Friday. So, y'all, the economy has just lost jobs that it wasn't supposed to lose at all. A federal court has right now just told the president he can't build his ballroom without asking Congress. Republicans in Washington, or in the words of one reporter, tearing the hair out because the president won't stop talking long enough to let them run their midterm campaigns. Tonight, we connect all three because they're not three separate stories. They're one story about who this economy is working for and who it isn't. All right, y'all, it's that time. So, welcome to the Hillbilly Think Tank with Spencer Keck. I am the educated hillbilly. And no, that's not an oxymoron. Don't call me a moron. There have been educated, erudite, emancipated hillbillies in Kentucky ever since my kith and kin came through the Cumberland Gap with Daniel Boone and other long hunters on their quest to find life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness right here in Kentucky, where we clawed our way into this position of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness through our grit and determination. And we're passing that on to our kids if we're doing things right. So again, I'm Spencer Keck, retired Navy doc, combat veteran, and candidate for magistrate on the Hardin County Fiscal Court, District 3. I'm also currently a public school teacher. Now, segment 1, the jobs report. This is a report nobody saw coming. Let's start with the number that should worry every working family in Hardin County. The U.S. economy lost 23,000 jobs in July. Not gained, lost. Wall Street was expecting something like 83,000 new jobs. Instead, we got a hole. And this is a hole that none of us ever expected. Think about that. 100. Right now, when you lose 23,000 jobs in July and we didn't gain them, we lost them. Wall Street was expecting something like 83,000 new jobs instead, and we got a hole. The 2 months before, it got revised down by a combined 103,000 jobs, meaning that the strong economy we were told about all spring wasn't as strong as it was advertised as being. Now, the unemployment rate, well, it actually dipped to 4.1%. Sounds good, right? Except economists are telling us that's not a sign of strength. It's a sign that people are giving up, looking for work altogether. Labor force participation fell to its lowest point in 5 years. That's not a healthy economy. Shedding a little steam, that's people dropping out of the workforce because they can't find what they're looking for. And here's the part that hits home for working families. Wage growth slowed to 3.2% over the past year, the lowest it's been since 2021, right as prices are ticking back up. When your paycheck grows slower than the cost of your groceries, gas, and rent, you're not falling behind because you're doing something wrong. You're falling behind because the math stopped working in your favor. Now, the ADP's chief economist pointed to something bigger going on underneath the monthly noise. It's an aging population, baby boomers retiring, and reduced immigration, all reshaping who's available to work and where. And labor researchers are already flagging that teen summer hiring, historically an early warning sign for the wider economy, is running worse than last year's record low. When the youngest, most flexible part of the workforce, they can't find those summer jobs, that tells you something about what's coming for everybody else. Now, this is the working poor and the shrinking middle class getting squeezed from both directions. Slower wage growth on one side, a cooling job market on the other, and meanwhile, in Washington, the president is fighting a federal court order for the right to keep building a $400 million ballroom onto the White House. He just won't give it up. Here's what's happened. A D.C. Circuit panel voted 2-1 to block above ground construction, ruling flatly that the project cannot move forward without express authorization from Congress. The judges called the president's decision to bulldoze the East Wing last October without that authorization unprecedented in American history. The president says the project includes a serious security complex with bomb shelters. The court gave the administration 2 weeks to seek review at the Supreme Court, and the president says he intends to do exactly that, calling the ruling a national disgrace. Now, I want to be fair, presidents get to make some calls about how the White House looks and functions, and there's a legitimate security argument buried in there somewhere. But here's my problem as a Navy veteran who believes in following the chain of command and respecting the institutions that hold this country together. The law is clear that this kind of construction, y'all, it needs Congress's sign off. And the administration bulldozed a piece of American history first and asked permission never. And that's not how this is supposed to work, where whichever party is in that White House. And optics, they do matter. The same week, we learned how working Americans lost jobs and are watching their paychecks lose ground to prices. The president is spending his political capital fighting for a $400 million construction project at his own house. You cannot tell a working family in Hardin County that you feel they're squeezed on affordability while you're suing a federal court for the right to build a ballroom. Now, here's a party that can't stay on message, which brings us to the third story. And it's the one that explains the other two. Reporting out of Washington this week describes Republican strategists as, in one reporter's words, apoplectic, frustrated that the president keeps stepping on his own party's midterm message. He's telling allies that voters are angry at him. They're not angry at him, they're angry at Republicans. Republicans understandably see it differently. They can't fully separate from him because they need his face to show up. But they also can't run a campaign about affordability and jobs when the headlines are dominated by war with Iran that reignited after a ceasefire collapse and the Pentagon planning around possible military action in Cuba, and a president who still won't let go of the Epstein files controversy. Every one of those stories pulls attention away from the one thing that actually determines whether a family in Hardin County can pay their light bill this month. That's not an accident, y'all. When the job number is bad and the ballroom fight looks tone deaf, a new international flashpoint is a very convenient thing to be talking about instead. Now, think about it. I'm not here to relitigate every headline out of Washington. I'm here to say plainly an economy that's losing jobs and a workforce that's giving up looking for them, and they don't look for those jobs at all. It's not a distraction, it's the story. And whether it's the administration, this one or the next one, whoever is in charge owes the working poor and the shrinking middle class a straight answer about affordability. Not a ballroom, not a new foreign policy crisis every few weeks, and not a fight about who's more angry at whom. That's just plain Kentucky hillbilly common sense. Anybody else disagree? Do we really think that we need more and more and more of this? I don't know. I don't. Let's go to Hardin County now. Let's think about it. So, what does a bad jobs report, a courthouse fight over a ballroom, and a Washington party arguing with itself have to do with a magistrate's race right here in District 3? Well, y'all, let's think about it. Everything. Because none of it is theoretical for us. When the national labor market cools, Hardin County families feel it first in overtime that disappears, and a second job that gets harder to find, and a paycheck that doesn't stretch as far as the grocery store as it used to. Fiscal court can't set the Fed's interest rate and can't fix national jobs report. The fiscal court decides how this county spends every dollar it does control and whether that spending actually helps working families get ahead or it just gets spent on something that looks good in a press release. We don't want that, do we? I know I don't, y'all. I spent 24 years in the Navy, much of it as an independent duty corpsman, taking care of people when nobody else was around to do it. I don't believe in spending money on a show when people are hurting. I believe in spending it on what actually helps your neighbors make it to the next paycheck. That's what we're about. That's what I'm about. I believe everyone in Hardin County is feeling this affordability crisis that we're in. We're tired of the tone deaf situation in Washington because it's coming down to us. Y'all, we know here in Hardin County what it is all about and where we stand with one another. I'm Spencer Keck, the educated hillbilly, and this has been the Hillbilly Think Tank. Come to a court meeting at fiscal court. Bring your hardest question. Whether I earn your vote or not, we will get an answer together. I'll see you there. Keep thinking deeply. And remember, in Kentucky, united we stand, divided we fall isn't just words on a flag. It's the glue that holds us together. Because if we love our neighbors as ourselves and recognize that, yes, we are our brother's keeper and our sister's keeper, then we cannot be divided and we will not fall, y'all. Remember, everyone deployed overseas right now, please. They're in a tough place. And bless you, corazón. That is Spanish for heart. Have yourself a great weekend. This has been paid by Spencer Keck. Been paid for by Spencer Keck, and learn more at spencerkeckmagistrate.com.